Well, I've been walking the streets at night, just trying to get it right. Hard to see with so many around. You know I don't like being stuck in the clouds. And the streets don't change, but maybe the names. I ain't got time for the game, 'cause I need you. Yeah, well, I need you. Oh, I need you. I need you. All this time. Welcome to another horrid, bloody, terrible episode of the apocalypse. Congratulations for choosing the apocalypse as well. A bold choice, an imbecilic choice, but a choice nonetheless. And since you have unwisely chosen the apocalypse, you are in urgent need of a guide. Unfortunately for me, I happen to be that guide, your humble guide, Nicholas. So, bloody good to see you again. It appears MAGA is okay with feeding people to alligators. That's where it's at. In MAGA world, you know, the world where you call good evil and evil good. Just like the story says. Anyway, let's begin. Yeah, this is what I woke up to. Of course, what else would it be? Notice the MAGA hats in the picture. And the smiles on their face. Idaho shooter identified as 20-year-old Wes Raleigh. Social media indicates disdain for government and law enforcement accounts have since been deleted. Parents reported to be major MAGA supporters. You think? You want to look again? So yeah, of course, that's what it is. This mentality, I said before the election, I said, do you want your country to be Russia? Chaos, craziness, abject corruption right out in your fucking face? Is that what the oligarchy wants? Is that what the peasants want? Apparently that's what they wanted. So this is what we got. Right after the election, remember, some kid, some Elon cultist shot a CEO dead on a sidewalk. And we've had a few other incidents, and now we have this one. And again, 9 times out of 10, if not 9.9 times out of 10, these types of shooters turn out to be right-wing people of right-wing ideology. Almost every time. So here we have another one. I call it the Donnie Shitbags effect. The kind of chaos and violence we've had since he won. The kind of blatant, naked, in-your-face corruption we've watched since he's won. Yeah, it's becoming more like Russia every day. Exactly what I said would happen. So the shooter was MAGA, his parents were MAGA, and you don't get any more MAGA than them. This is Ron Filipkowski. As Putin continues to escalate the bombings and drone attacks on civilians in Ukraine, his dutiful servant rewards him for it. And why is Ron saying that? Because Donny Krasnov lifted sanctions on certain Russian entities and banks. Trump administration just lifted sanctions on several Russian banks close to Putin. Let's see which ones. Gazprom Bank, State Corporation Bank, Public Joint Stock Company Bank, Sovcom Bank, Open Joint Stock Company, Public Joint Stock Company. That's the first five. I have the rest of the list in a minute. This is just a random poster, and he said they are using FEMA funds to build a concentration camp in Florida, while some Floridians are still waiting on FEMA assistance for hurricanes last year. Yeah. Priorities. And what is the priority of you MAGA folk? Not results, not improvement of your life or our lives. Evil, cruelty, persecution. Like the Romans that watched, I don't know, Christians get eaten by lions and shit. That's you. Seriously. How do I know that? Because there's still people in Florida waiting for FEMA help and money, but the concentration camp, 3 days, it's done. That's how I know what you are, what Ron DeSantis is, what Donnie Shitbags is, and your whole movement is. It's a movement destined for the lake, son. Destined for the abyss. Why? Because it's about evil and cruelty and nothing else. Does no good for society whatsoever. In fact, it ruins it. So yeah, that's a great point, Al. The concentration camps up and running, money right away, help right away, National Guard troops right away, motherfuckers that got their house knocked down in a hurricane. They can wait. That's how I know, again, your movement and your name is on cruelty, evil, persecution, and the evil will get much more, and you'll love it much more. Because you are the Romans, the MAGA movement. Let's read some more banks from Russia that got sanctions lifted on them, because Donnie Krasnov is showing us that he's Donnie Krasnov again. Why the facade? I mean, I know he's a straight up Russian asset. I knew before he won the second election. The facade's dropping more. He just lifted sanctions on Russian banks. That's why they call him Donnie Krasnov. Number 6, VTP Bank. Joint Stock Companies, number 7, Alpha Bank. Number 8, Public Joint Stock Company, Ross Bank. 9, Bank Zenit Public Joint Stock Company. 10, Bank St. Petersburg Public Joint Stock Company. 11, National Clearing Center. I'm not going to read the rest. You get the idea. There's a shit ton, if not 15 banks or entities on here that were previously sanctioned that Donnie Krasnov has lifted the sanctions on for his boss. Dropping the facade more and more every day. All of our allies have been alienated intentionally. Our allies are now Venezuela, Saudi Arabia, North Korea, and Russia. That's what we got. That was intentional by Donnie Krasnov for his master Vlad. That's why they call him Donnie Krasnov, because Vlad is his master. Showing you more and more, lifting sanctions as they're still killing Ukrainians every 3 seconds. Here's a good question. Why did a 75-year-old man in poor health just die in ICE custody? Isidro Perez came to the U.S. from Cuba nearly 60 years ago. This is who Stephen Miller is going after now. Let's read a bit of it. In a notification sent to Congress over the weekend, Immigrations and Customs Enforcement revealed that a 75-year-old Cuban national named Isidro Perez died while in ICE custody on June 26. The death, which appears to have been caused by a heart attack, is still under investigation, according to the notification, which was sent out by a congressional aide. Obviously, the man's age immediately makes it look odd that he was in ICE detention in the first place. We don't need to read the rest. Perhaps the stress of a 70-year-old being in a concentration camp gave him a heart attack. Perhaps. Not perhaps, fucking definitely. That 49-year-old, what's the excuse with him? Is he of death age that we can just say, you know, oh, he was old, so, you know. Well, me personally, I don't know about you out there. I would prefer these people not die in a concentration camp in America or anywhere else. I don't know about you. But like I said, you people are about cruelty. Your movement is about cruelty, persecution, evil, the devil. Whether you understand that or not, that's irrelevant to me. I'm telling you what your movement is. I'm not asking. That's why your entire movement, everyone that takes the mark, because they love Donnie and they love the cruelty, they love the evil, they love Satan. They're going in the lake. So I'd get your name off this shit right here, cheering on old men and women being put in lockup and dying there. Again, a woman died in Florida recently, in custody. ICE custody, that is. The 49-year-old that just died. Now this guy. What the fuck's going on in these places? I think we all know the answer to that question. And there's no excuses for it. There's no justification, son. It's just evil. And if you down with it, you evil too. And again, I'm not saying that because I don't like you. You should know this. I shouldn't even have to tell you, son. You should know that 75-year-old men dying in a detention camp, concentration camp, whatever, to please Stephen Miller and Donnie Shitbags and you. You should know that's wrong. Apparently you don't. You should know lifting sanctions on Russia right now is wrong. But apparently you don't. Anyway, measles crisis. Honduras just became the first country in the Americas to reintroduce border control for MMR vax status. Travelers without proof of vaccination or testing will be denied entry. So that measles thing has not gone away, and some countries are worried about Americans traveling now. Here's another shill for the Reich. What is this person's name? McLaughlin. I forget her exact position. The interviewer asks her, do you think it's going to be politically okay to pick people up in the workplace? Pick people up, not kidnap. They may have been here for a few years. Then you stick them in Alcatraz in the Everglades. Do you think that's politically popular? McLaughlin, we are focused on getting the worst of the worst out of this country. How many times have we heard the phrase worst of the worst? Then we find out, 70% of the people have no records whatsoever, yet a convicted felon is president. Again, that's how I know you people believe in nothing. You keep pointing to all these people's records. Meanwhile, you voted for a fucking convicted felon, adjudicated rapist, defamer, fraud. You know what defamer means, Rube? Liar. Intentionally. To do damage. With malice. Is that you? Obviously, you voted for it. Must be you too. Traitor to his nation, he tried to overthrow the government, and everyone knows it, even the most disingenuous Rube out there. Stole 3,000 classified documents, and I guarantee he gave them to somebody. None of this bothers you. You were tested. You failed utterly. How one can see that much evil, corruption, treachery to your nation and still love it. Oh, I wouldn't want to be you, man. I would not want to be you. You're not going to a good place. And it's pretty much guaranteed. Because I don't see too many humans changing very much. So again, the worst of the worst, they just throw that phrase out there and the Rubes can repeat it, and then we're all supposed to just go on about our business. Even though we all know most of them aren't the worst of the worst. They don't even have a record. So that's a lie. The able-bodied thing so they can cut your Medicaid, you dumbass. That's a lie. Again, these phrases so the Roops has something to repeat so they can sleep at night because they know they're doing evil. Good thing you have the right-wing grift/terror machine to give you the talking points too, because what would you do without that? You'd have to acknowledge the fact that you're evil. That wouldn't work for you, I know. So whenever the Reich throws out the phrase able-bodied, that means they can cut any program. They can cut grandma's welfare, grandma's food stamps, whatever, just because they said able-bodied to a bunch of fucking apes. When they say worst to the worst, the SEALs, worst to the worst, worst to the... I can sleep at night now. You're still evil, son. That don't get the evil off your back. Again, calling it business, calling it politics, calling it worst of the worst will not get the evil off your back. I'm sorry. It does help you sleep at night, though. I got to give it that. This is Donnie talking shit on Japan to show people how spoiled countries have become with respect to the United States of America, and I have great respect for Japan. They won't take our rice. And yet they have a massive rice shortage. In other words, we'll just be sending them a letter, and we love having them as a trading partner for many years to come. And when Japan gets that letter, they'll tear it up, throw it in the garbage, and continue trading with other countries and never trade with America ever again. That's what will happen. But Donnie's grifting, and that's what's important, right, Roops? You seen any of that grift money yet, that tariff money? Nope, and you never fucking will. That's Donnie's grift. That's Donnie's money. You ain't part of the equation. You were just the mark that helped him get there. That's the role you played. And now that role's over. This, I can't believe it. Again, what tells me you people are part of an evil movement. You're of Satan. You're evil. I'm sorry if you have your name on this. Laura Loomer. Here's the post. This isn't funny or cute. You know who it's especially not funny or cute to? The man. Are you ready? Loomer says, Donnie's ex-plastic side piece, Alligator Alcatraz, feeding illegals to the gators. We need more of this energy. Openly advocating in the year of our Lord 2025 to feed people to alligators. That's where you cunts are at. That's what you got your name on, son. I'd get my name off it if I were you. Every day when I think you people, because you're all one satanic entity, when I think you people can't go any lower into the abyss of hell, you do. Now we're openly advocating for murdering people via Alligator, again, as if it's ancient Rome. And Christians are being thrown to the lions and shit. That's you, son. You're in the Coliseum, watching it, loving it. That's you. Feeding illegals to the gators. We need more of this energy. That's what you got your name on, son. I'd get your name the fuck off it. Because again, the man don't find this cute or funny, and he don't call it politics. You know what he calls it? Evil. I'd get your name off. The stepfather of the Idaho shooter Wes Raleigh in a recent trip to Washington. Of course, right? Of course. Here's a picture. Made sure to have the MAGA hat on and the other MAGA hat in front of him. It's not a cult at all. And, you know, the kid he's raising shot a couple firemen in an ambush. Lured him out there to shoot them. That's where MAGA is. That's what MAGA is. Death, Satan, lies, hate, evil. That's why it's the apocalypse, son. You voted for it. You ushered it in. Literally. And you gave scumbags like this guy's kid permission to do things. Leon gave that other kid permission to shoot that CEO. That's the spirit they project. And you people run with it like good fucking sheep. So, of course, he made a recent trip to D.C. with the MAGA hats and the whole thing before his son killed a couple firemen for fun. You know, that's that same mentality, the people with the, you know, the 18 guns in their house and the dummy out back that says Nancy Pelosi on it. Same people right here. And that's you as well. I know a lot of you, that's what you have inside you. You want to kill people. Let's be honest. That's why most of the fucking shooters or MAGA people are right-wing conservative people. Because that's what so many of you have inside you. Violence is okay. Feeding people to alligators is okay. Concentration camps in the swamp is okay. As long as it feeds your hate. What a sad existence that must be. Here's Leon, who is getting all uppity today, talking all kind of shit, and don't feel sorry for Leon. Don't think he's turning over a new leaf or anything. He just didn't get his EV tax credits. And you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of MAGA people that lost their government jobs, and they thought by voting for the Antichrist and that whole thing, they were safe, they were in the cult, they were part of it, and they didn't get what they wanted out of it. They got the persecution. They wanted him to persecute other people. That's what they were looking for. I told you he was a beast 10 years ago. And that all would face it. Boy, has that come true. So Leon, I just occurred to me today. I was like, wow, Leon sounds like one of these government workers that lost their job that voted for Donnie. And they thought they were in the club. And they thought they were going to get everything they wanted out of it. And instead of the persecution going at other people, it went at them. Mercilessly. Without a care. Leon's feeling that right now. He put up, I don't know, 200 million, 300, 400 million for Donnie to get him in there and get all these people in there. The Reich. Now Leon's talking shit on the Reich. He made the Reich fucking happen. Here it is. It's obvious with this insane spending of this bill, which increases the debt ceiling by a record $5 trillion, that we live in a one-party country, the Porky Pig Party. Yes, that Leon financed and made happen, by the way. Don't ever forget that. He was co-chancellor. He was loving it all. He was loving getting the contracts. Until Donnie didn't give him his EV tax credits. Donnie even said on TV, Leon knew I wasn't about, electric cars. I'm about oil and coal. Like, Leon knew this. Again, he sounds like you rubes that lost your farm or your business or your government job. And I get on camera and say, well, Donnie and Leon said they were going to fire everybody and round people up. You didn't hear that part? Donnie said the same thing. Leon, knows I'm not about electric car. He knew I wasn't going to put that in the bill. Leon thought he, owned Donnie. He thought he had Donnie on a leash. And again, what I've been saying for 10 years, No one can put a leash on the beast and expect it not to snap. It snapped on Leon. There's one guy that has a leash on this motherfucker left. Vlad Putin. I'm waiting for him to snap that one. Time for a new political party that actually cares about the people. Well, that threat would hurt Republicans because mostly Republicans would vote for Leon and his new political party. And that's the threat that Leon is making here. But Leon's getting awful uppity. You know, he's ruining his apologies. His removing the Epstein comment that he made about Donnie. All the threats he made. He's starting to get uppity again. I don't know about this. This might not be a good idea for Leon. There's like 2 or 3 more of those too. He gets worse and worse. I guess he gets more gacked up throughout the day, and he gets like bold and uppity and shit. Then when he comes down and the next morning wakes up, you know, he's a little more clear-headed. He apologizes. You know, like the day he did the Nazi salute in front of the whole fucking world, and the next day when he woke up, he's like, oh, fuck. I didn't do a Nazi salute, I swear. Yeah, sure, son. This is the misery that is Tom Homan. He was interviewed today. If misery could be, you know, a human being, it would be Tom. And what's going around about Tom recently, I think he's the one that said it. He doesn't live with his family anymore, and he says it's because... he says it's for their safety. No, Tom, it's not for their safety. We know what it is, Tom. Your misery personified, and your family can't fucking stand you. Get the fuck out of here with their safety bullshit. So the question to Tom Misery Homan. A 75-year-old Cuban national died in ICE custody. He had lived in the U.S. for 60 years. Is there anything you can tell us about that? Imagine this man, before I get to Tom and the evil he's about to spout. Imagine being here for 60 fucking years, working. You're an old man now, and you have to get rounded up by the Gestapo in the apocalypse and end up dying in a fucking concentration camp. Could you imagine? 60 years he lived here. I don't think he was the worst of the worst. Border czar Tom Misery Homan. People die in ICE custody. People die in county jails. People die in state prisons. Oh, okay. So, oh well. Again, this is what you people got your name on, man. Rounding people up that have been here for 60 years so you can they can have a heart attack in the concentration camp. You're down with Tom Homan, whose own family can't fucking stand him. You got your name on evil, son. You need to get it off. For your sake, not for mine. I don't get jack shit out of it. So when you look at the title of my live stream, don't think I'm trying to start trouble here or make an allegation. I'm just quoting Tom Homan. The demon that is Tom Homan. The demon that you have your name on, that you enabled, that you empowered. People die in ICE custody. People die in county jails. People die in state prisons. That's his answer to a 75-year-old man dying. I'm glad I don't have my name on that shit. That's all I got to say. Here's Donnie being asked in an interview about Iran. Do you think that the Iran regime hid some of the enriched uranium before the strikes? Trump. No, it's very hard to do. It's very dangerous to do. It's very heavy. There's pictures of trucks moving shit out of the site before it was bombed. So it was moved. The damage was minimal. And what Donnie's saying here is ridiculous. It can be done, and they did it. So Donnie lying to you again, just pulling an answer right out of his diaper. Here's Leon getting uppity again for the second time of the day. How could you call yourself the Freedom Caucus if you vote for a debt slavery bill with the biggest debt ceiling increase in history? Again, Leon don't give a fuck about the debt ceiling, especially when you're offering him a $100 million contract. And he's always got his hand out for one of those. Welfare from you. That's what it is. Literally. Only reason his businesses are even open, son, is because of you. Always remember that. Welfare queen. Totally, utterly, completely. So again, it's just because he didn't get his EV tax credits, he could give two fucks about the debt ceiling or the debt. He just wants his EV tax credits because his business probably won't survive without him, I guess. By the level of uppityness he's displaying today. This is a picture. I obtained this from a community member minutes after arriving on scene following a raid at Cypress Park Home Depot this morning. They detained day laborers. Yes, raiding Home Depots, for fuck's sake. That shouldn't even be a thing. It shouldn't be a thing in our world. It shouldn't be in the English fucking language. They're not raiding drug dens. They're not raiding human trafficking dens. They're raiding Home Depots for day laborers. I don't think those day laborers are the worst of the worst, Rubes. I'm just guessing. And again, we got a convicted felon in the White House. Now, I'm going to show you this picture. This is literally men in a van in full military fucking gear. It looks like they're about to be deployed to fucking Afghanistan. And they are rounding people up at a fucking Home Depot. This is America now. This is on your fucking streets. We're already knee, waist, rib deep in the fucking dystopian nightmare. I can't believe what I'm seeing. Look at this motherfucking picture. Men in masks in a van with machine guns and full military gear, clothing, everything, helmets, rounding people up at Home Depot. I'm sorry, there's no justification for this. This is straight up 1984 dystopian nightmare shit. I know the rubes that don't read, so they have no clue what I'm talking about. But this is what it is, okay? This is 1984. This is China. This is Russia. This is North Korea. That's what you've done, son. And if you think these fucking cunts will only be laying hands on illegals for the rest of this apocalypse, you wrong, son. They're going to be laying hands on you too. Don't worry, it's coming. What did Donnie say? Next up is the homegrowns, remember? That's your boy, Donnie Shitbags. The Orange Abomination. He said that, I didn't. Again, this is fucking ridiculous. I can't believe. I imagine these idiots, too, standing in front of the mirror, wherever they came from, their house, some fucking whatever location, putting all this ridiculous amount of gear on, and the mask and everything, thinking to themselves, yeah, I'm about to, rush in there and get some illegals with my machine gun mask and full military gear. This is fucking insane, and I can't believe it's gotten to this point already. They ain't fucking hiding where this is going. And again, if you think only liberal people are going to suffer under this, you're fucking crazy. How many of you lost your jobs already, your farm, your business, whatever, that are MAGA in this country? That should tell you that it's going to come touch you as well. Masked men with machine guns on the fucking street in full gear. Yeah, that's going to touch you too, son. This is just a random poster. Life hacks for 2025. If they promise safety, it's about control. If Palantir is involved, you're the product. If Peter Thiel is funding it, it's CIA connected. If they say it's for security, it's for surveillance. If you question any of it, you're already on a list. Damn right. Damn right. One more time, because it just rolls off the tongue so nicely. If they promise safety, it's about control. If Palantir is involved, you're the product. If Peter Thiel is funding it, it's CIA connected. If they say it's for security, it's for surveillance. If you question any of it, you're already on a list. Yep. That's what you've done, Rubes. End of your empire. Forever. Never coming back. Okay, this is someone trying to make a point. This is Leon, February 3rd, 2025, when he was co-chancellor. Remember. This is a post by him. We spent the weekend feeding U.S. aid into the wood chipper. Could have gone to some great parties. Did that instead. So again, you're the movement you're involved in, that Leon's involved in, all of it. It's all of Satan and it's all evil. How do I know that? Because Leon is boasting and making a joke about cutting aid to hungry fucking people. The richest man in the world is doing that. Boasting, laughing, mocking the fact that he's taking food out of people's fucking mouths. That's why you're evil if you have your name on this. That's why Leon is. That's why the whole movement is. Do you people realize you're at the point where you're talking about feeding people to alligators and celebrating hungry children not getting food? As the richest man in the world, boasts and laughs about it. Look at his punk ass now. On the outs with the Reich like a bitch. Begging for his EV tax credits. Pretending he cares about deficits. He ain't co-chancellor anymore for the moment. I expect he'll be back, but look at him now. That's how quick it can turn. Everybody thinks they're the apple of Donnie's eye. Everybody thinks they have him on a leash, right, Leon? I told you, Leon, no one can leash the beast. Even if you know they're the beast, it doesn't matter. He's got the blessing. Not Vlad Putin, not Leon Scum, not Peter Thiel. Donnie has the blessing. So Leon went from, I could have went to some great parties, but I had all this fun, taking food out of little kids' mouths. It was great. Here's a little article to go with that, just a little piece. While the Trump administration's cuts to U.S. aid this year have been felt deeply across the world, their impact in Sudan was especially deadly, according to more than 24 Washington Post interviews with civilians, clinicians, and aid officials in the capital, Khartoum, and surrounding villages. When U.S.-supported soup kitchens were forced to close, babies starved quietly, their mothers said, while older siblings died begging for food. Funding stoppages meant that critical medical supplies were never delivered, doctors said. The lack of U.S.-funded disease response teams has made it harder to contain cholera outbreaks, which are claiming the lives of those already weakened by hunger. So we chose to help Sudan at some point. And it just got all taken away on the whims of the fattest, richest man in the world, Leon Scum, and the whims of an obese guy in orange face with a diaper full of shit. And I believe he has a catheter now, so he probably has a bag of piss tied to his ankle. So they could grift, so they could steal money, so they could steal information, so they could do Vlad Putin's bidding. That's why these people had to die. And before the first cunt says, should we help the whole world? No, we can't help the whole world. But we can help some of the world. Cunt. And we were. And that is noble of us. As a nation. That is Christ-like of us. as a nation. Laughing about it being taken away is of Satan, son. That's the difference. That's why it's not a good thing. And again, for all the cunts that want to raise their hand in class, but we can't pay for the whole world. No fuck. I know that. We can pay for some of it, though. And we were. Until Fat Leon and Fat Donnie came along. Now we're not. So they can grift the money. You're being dismantled and looted. So was their aid program that fed Sudan. That got dismantled and looted and cashed the fuck in. Liquidated, if you will. That's what your nation is going to undergo. A liquidation. It's already partially happened. So when you cut aid, little children, people fucking die. That's why you're despised, Leon, and you'll be despised until you take your last fucking worthless breath. As you laugh and mock people starving to death because you took the funding away. Look at your bitch ass now. On the house with the Reich on the outside looking in like a stray cat or something. Boy, tides turn quick, don't they, Leon? They're going to turn quick in the end, too, for all of these motherfuckers. And none of them are going to see it coming. And it's going to be ugly, and there's going to be a lot of fucking crying. My God. These are the weakest people on the planet that are involved in this movement at the top all the way down to the bottom. When they face the consequences for what they're doing and what they've done for the entirety of their lives, oh my God, they will not handle it well. No matter how many people they kill along the way. Via their Reich and their Antichrist. Irrelevant to what's going to happen to you, son. Completely irrelevant. Here's Leon again getting uppity. Every member of Congress who campaigned on reducing government spending and then immediately voted for the biggest debt increase in history should hang their head in shame. And they will lose their primary next year if it's the last thing I do on this earth. Ooh, the Special K must have really kicked in on this one, boy. And they will lose their primary next year if it's the last thing I do on earth. Wow. Leon getting double uppity. So you got Donnie threatening congressmen and senators. This is so just... Donnie threatening congressmen and senators if they don't vote for it by with a primary and with an endorsement to another candidate for their job. Then you've got Leon, the richest man in the world, who used to be co-chancellor, who's outside looking in, saying, any Republican that votes for this, you're going to have a primary challenge, and it's going to be, I'm going to put every effort into removing you if it's the last thing I do. What do you do in that situation? I guess you follow Donnie's shitbags, right? Because he has the blessing, right? Right, spineless cowards? I love the speeches, too, that they all give about how they're not going to vote for it, and then a phone call's made in, like, the next day. Oh, I'm going to vote for it. Even though I hate it. Even though it's going to rip things away from my constituent. MAGA. I got to go along. That's why the country's gone. That's why it's the apocalypse, that attitude. Okay, this is the lawyer chiming in on the picture I showed you of the men literally in a van in mass with machine guns that are about to kidnap people. That's America now. It's a Reich now. It's not a democracy. It's not a republic. It's a Reich. So the lawyer's commenting on this, and he would know he handles these types of cases. Immigration cases. I believe this is BORTAC, the Border Patrol's equivalent of SWAT. The guy eventually shot the Uvalde killer was part of BORTAC. They're trained operators. There is literally no justification to use BORTAC to round up day laborers. None, zero, zip, nada. That's a lawyer talking, a lawyer in this business, immigration. I'm glad I got the clarification from him because he would know again. So this, again, it's the Border Patrol's version of a SWAT team grabbing illegals in masks at Home Depot. That's where the Gestapo and the Reich is at the moment, and that's where you are. Full military gear as if they're about to be deployed to Afghanistan. Anyone that's not totally brainwashed, that has 3 brain cells, that has the slightest IQ, should be able to look at this picture and know exactly where things are going. Unbelievable that some of you out there are okay with this. But again, that's why you're of Satan. That's why this is the apocalypse and all that. And again, I hope I'm dead wrong about everything, but every day it just gets worse, exactly how I expected to. This is Skeletor, Miss Levitt, talking about Alligator Auschwitz. And she speaks of it as if, she speaks of it all positively, in a positive manner, like it's a commercial or something. There's another part of the story, a phrase I keep telling you about. There will come a time on the world where they call good evil and evil good. That's you, MAGA. You're those people. Literally. The exact peoples the story is talking about. You, right now, this moment. They will call good evil and evil good. In other words, reality will be inverted for some of us. And we will preach that gospel of inversion of Satan. That's you, MAGA. You're doing it. You've been doing it for 20 years at least, if not longer. Let's hear what Miss Levitt said in a very perky and positive voice, like it's just great going in this dystopia where we lock people up in the swamp with machine gun guards around, National Guard. Alligator Alcatraz, migrant camp that Trump will tour tomorrow. The only way out is a one-way flight. It is isolated and surrounded by dangerous wildlife. This is an efficient and low-cost way to help carry out the largest mass deportation campaign in American history. What I just read to you, what Skeletor did there today, that's calling evil good and good evil and preaching it. That will end in one place. The abyss, the lake, whatever you want to call it, that's where that ends. So you are a movement of Satan that inverts reality on an hourly basis. You were taught that by Donnie Shitbags and the right-wing grift / terror machine and Vlad Putin. Where a literal sex trafficker or pedophile will call other people sex traffickers and pedophiles. And you accept that as truth. You did for 20 years. Unbelievable how she stated this. I couldn't believe it when I listened to it. I'm like, this is the dystopian nightmare you see in movies and read about in books, where some blonde-haired cunt up there is all, sunshiny talking about death camps. Again, if I wrote this in a novel, they'd tell me to fuck off. It's too over the top. It's too cliche, blah, blah, blah. They'd be like, we can't print this. Yet it's our reality. Thanks to you, Rubes. Here's just a random commenter. I don't know who they are, but they said something amazing. I am not a perfect person, but at least I can wake up every day knowing I didn't vote for concentration camps and millions being stripped of health insurance and food assistance. Indeed. Oh, don't worry, it's only the able-bodieds that are going to lose their health care and their food. Don't worry. We can trust the right to make sure that's true. Here's the thing, cunts. Even that's unacceptable. That doesn't make it okay to do evil by saying, we're just going to do the evil to able-bodied people. No, they're not, one. Two, even if that was your justification to sleep at night, which I know it is, it's still wrong. It's still evil. It's still disgusting. Donnie's fat ass going to get free health care the rest of his life on your dime. Has he done any work in the, 87 years of his life? No, not 1 minute of work. No. He's grifted. He's lied. He's stolen. He's cheated. He's killed. He's raped. So one more time. I'm not a perfect person, but at least I can wake up every day knowing I didn't vote for concentration camps and millions being stripped of health insurance and food assistance. Yes, Rubes, you know when they throw the phrase at you, able-bodied, that's just a lie, right? And they're just going to blanket cut the program for an amount of people. But you don't care. Because the right gave you the talking points. And that's all you needed to sleep at night. That they'll take the evil away inside you, son. I'm sorry. It's still there. God don't accept talking points either as arguments. Because he knows what it is. He knows you're just like Donnie, and that's why you voted for Donnie. The third time. You won't be able to hide it. So yeah, as imperfect as we all are, because we're all imperfect and horrible, at least some of us can wake up in the morning and look at ourselves in the mirror and be like, thank God I didn't vote for the fucking Antichrist, for concentration camps, for masked men with machine guns on our streets rounding people up, some of them U.S. citizens. I didn't vote for a death camp in El Salvador. I didn't vote to take food stamps and health care away from people. That's a good feeling. At least you can put that in the bank. That I'm not, straight of Satan. I care about my fellow man a little bit, despite my other imperfections and sins. I at least didn't put my name on the fucking Antichrist. What amazes me, too, is so many of you claim to be Christians. You've been all in and out of the right-wing podcast conspiracy theory world your whole fucking life, and you don't know the motherfucking Antichrist when you see him? You know why that is? Because you never were a Christian. And you're of Satan, lest you turn away. So yes, none of us are perfect, but at least some of us can say, we didn't vote for to lock people up forever in CCOT, a death camp, and we didn't vote for the Antichrist. It's something. This is Gavin Newsom, the top military commander in charge of troops deployed to Los Angeles to respond to protests against immigration raids, has asked Pete Hegseth if 200 of those forces could be returned to wildfire fighting duty. Military requesting to pull 200 troops back from California protest duty. Why? Because there's fires in California and they need them for that. Not to subjugate the people of California. They don't need them for that. That's what Donnie's doing with the military there. Gavin would like to take the military and fight some fucking fires. That's the difference between Gavin and you, me and you, non-sociopaths and you who have your name on the Antichrist. The Antichrist needs the military on the streets to subjugate your dumb ass, your mark ass. Because that's all you were. That's all you ever were. And that's the priority of the Reich and Donnie. The priority of Gavin Newsom and the rest of us. We'd like to take those troops to go fight some forest fires. Why? Because we're not sociopaths of Satan like you. Simple. Again, the right doesn't care about forest fires. The right cares about subjugating you. And my God, when you see how far this plan goes, look how far it's gone already. We already got the machine guns on our streets. We already got a new death camp opening up in Florida. And you people still don't get it yet, do you? You still think it's not going to touch you. You couldn't be more wrong. And here's another symptom of what's been going on, the Donnie Shitbags effect. This is from the New York Times. A University of Florida law student won an academic honor after he argued in a paper that the Constitution applies only to white people. He won an award, University of Florida. I don't know. Looks like the South is rising again, and shit like, the Constitution isn't really talking about those black people. They don't have any rights. Looks like the South rising again. The Reich rising again. Racism just front and fucking center. To where a college gives an award to someone who writes that, yeah, the Constitution doesn't really talk about giving black people rights, only white people. It's kind of like Laura Loomer talking about feeding people to alligators. That's where you people are at now. You're getting deeper and deeper into this straight up evil shit. All of it of Satan again. All of it. The whole movement. Oh, here's Donnie's new grift. Check it out. For men and women. Would you like that shitty diaper smell? Donnie has bottled it. And this is his own post, just straight up grifting off the presidency. When you watch the video commercial he did, he has the American flags behind him. He's got the podium. He's selling the shit as the president, not as Donnie Shitbags. Just a straight up, in your face, flat out, using the presidency as a marketing gimmick to sell product right in your motherfucking face. That's what level grifter this motherfucker is. And that's what level mark you are. Trump fragrances are here. They're called Victory 45 and 47 because they're all about winning, strength, and success. For men and women, get yourself a bottle and don't forget to get one for your loved ones too. Enjoy, have fun, and keep winning. And of course, he has the link there. Donnie's new grift. Perfume. The DOJ's June 2025 memo to denaturalize certain citizens lists ending anti-Semitism as one of its main reasons. The Trump administration is poised to denaturalize and deport American citizens who criticize Israel. They've already been trying to do it to college students. Just wait till you see how far this will all go. And we are at the end. Leon, again, got uppity one last time before I was about to come on camera. And that looks like this. Anyone who campaigned on the promise of reducing spending, but continues to vote on the biggest debt ceiling increases in history, will see their face on this poster in the primary next year. Oh, so he made a Pinocchio poster that he's going to put their face on. God, this is so pathetic. And what's sad is our country hangs in the balance with all these cunts and all their actions. That's the saddest part. These fucking children that are as mature as, I don't know, 4-year-olds. And it's a Pinocchio with fire burning him, and it just says liar real big. Voted to increase America's debt by $5 trillion. That's what's going to be written, and the congressman or senator's face will be on it next year for the midterms, as if the midterms are going to matter, as if the Reich's going to let those matter. Come on now. He staged a coup last time. There's already troops on the street. The midterms are worthless now. And there fucking definitely ain't going to be another presidential election. Oh my God, forget about that. Look what he's achieved in 5 or 6 months. By the 4-year mark, I mean, it will be totally subjugated. Troops everywhere, surveillance everywhere, all kind of fucking crazy shit going on. Here's the thing I must say to Leon as he gets uppity and more uppity every day. Leon literally financed these people. Leon went full MAGA, preached the gospel of MAGA, became co-fucking chancellor after investing hundreds of millions of dollars in Donnie and the Reich in general. He gets a few contracts. He's loving life. He's Donnie's roommate at Mar-a-Lago. He's in the Oval Office every 2 seconds with his little kid, telling Donnie to fuck off and get his shine box and get him some juice. My point is, Leon, you made all this happen. Why are you crying now, Leon? You wanted this. You went full MAGA. You invested heavily in the Reich. You shaped the Reich. You helped it along. Now you're surprised you didn't get what you want. And you're on the outs. And no one even wants to talk about you. It's as if you don't exist. When you went full Reich. And you went all in on the Reich financially. And with your words, you preached it. You preached the gospel of the Reich. And now you're saying that Donnie's signature piece of legislation should not be passed. I don't get it. What happened, Leon? Oh, you didn't get your EV tax credit. So once again, it's all about Leon. It ain't about society or humanity or the budget or anything like that. It's about one spoiled, fat, rich fuck who was co-chancellor for a minute, and he didn't get what he wanted out of the big piece of legislation. Leon, how does it feel? Because every MAGA person that had a job in government that you slashed their budget and their job as if they were fucking trash, that's how they feel right now. They're going to lose a lot of time, money, effort, and go through a lot of stress, just like you, Leon. Because of your actions. Many people have already starved to death because of your actions. So we're supposed to care about you crying about this fucking bill now? You made this all happen, Leon. And just like all you maggots that lost everything because of the Reich in the first 6 months, and you thought you were immune because you were a maggot, Leon's going through the same thing you went through. The realization that you were just a mark and you don't matter. And Leon's a little bit different than you. Leon is in a high position financially to where he was one of the humans on Earth that thought he could put a leash on the beast and control him. Boy, did that turn out to be wrong. He wasn't controlling jack shit. Donnie was biding his time every second to get rid of that motherfucker. Donnie's the champion of throwing people under the bus, getting rid of them, etc. Again, everyone thinks they're the apples of Donnie's eye. Miss Loomer thought it. Look at her now. Everybody thought it. Donnie always moves on to the next thing. Always. And I knew Donnie from second one had plans on getting rid of Leon. And, you know, Thale, Leon, and JD had plans on getting rid of Donnie, but they're not what Donnie is. You know, like I said the other day, Mr. Thale, you don't have to worry. Donnie's the Antichrist. He has the blessing. You don't. You just get to finance the Antichrist and be despised for the rest of your existence for your, you know, transhumanist, Satanist views. And Leon's just a false prophet, so don't worry. Neither of you are the Antichrist. That's Donnie. But I want to stress this one more time before I go because this is so fascinating to me. when people literally put their name on evil and atrocity and just horror, and then when they get thrown under the bus by that leopard that wasn't supposed to eat their face, even though everybody warned them, yeah, that leopard's going to eat your face. Again, they want us all to rally around them. It also reminds me, what Leon reminds me of right now, is all of you people that voted MAGA, voted for Donnie, and you lost your job or your home or your business or whatever. You go on camera, you talk about it, you want everyone to rally around you when you were warned by everyone. You put up a GoFundMe, you want people to fund you after you funded your own demise or voted for your own demise, excuse me. I said day one that would happen, that the people that voted for him will cry on our shoulders. Leon's the same thing. He literally made this happen. He's one of the integral players. And now he wants us, what, to rally around him and say, yeah, Leon's great and we don't want the bill to pass. When we all know it's just because Leon didn't get his tax credits. I just, he was an integral part of building this Reich, giving Donnie power. And what Leon is learning now is he was a mark, just like the most common rube that voted for this. Naught but a mark. So again, it reminds me of the people that voted for him and lost everything. And now they want us to rally around them and help them. Leon's going through the same thing, wants us to rally around him and, make sure this bill doesn't get passed. But Leon, you gave Donnie like $400 million. So I guess what I'm saying, Leon, is you're to blame for your own demise. You helped put the Antichrist in power because you thought you were smart enough, tough enough to put a leash on him. You're not. Obviously, look where you are. And I've been saying for years, no one can put a leash on the beast. But I know when you get up to billionaire Satan worshiper status, you think you know everything. You think you're the wisest person, smartest person, and nothing bad can happen to you. I know. You're wrong. No one can put a leash on the beast without it snapping. We've seen this time after time after time after time. And again, in 30s Germany, I bet a lot of people thought they had Hitler on a leash. They didn't. He almost destroyed the entire fucking world. And I know a lot of people have said, and I've said in the past, oh, they're all the same, politics as usual. But every now and then, what I learned throughout my existence, every now and then, someone like Adolf comes along, someone like Donnie, where the whole world has changed forever and not in a good way. And they rain horror and evil upon the world like, no one thought was possible. And there's a reason it happens. It's a spiritual thing. There's a reason in Scripture 5 or 6, 7 empires are, listed, laid out. Because it's all the same thing. It just keeps being expressed slightly differently. The Greek Empire, the Roman Empire, the Persian Empire, the American Empire, the British Empire. It always kind of goes to the same terrible place. What I've also learned is I got this sense that the devil used those empires, tried to usher in the era of him. None of those were it. This one is it. Because the technology just wasn't there yet. So we're in the final empire that's based on the old Roman Empire. We are Rome. And it's our downfall. That's what we're living in right now. And every empire falls eventually. And this one, there was only one way for it to fall. Internally, because our military was way too powerful for anyone to take it on. So the only way it could have fell is a traitor like Donnie comes along, Russian asset, literally working for our enemies, named Donnie Krasnov. And you dismantle and loot every institution, and you put troops on the streets, and you take everyone's rights and freedoms away, and you start off with a class of people that no one gives a fuck about, called illegals. In Germany's time, they were called Jews. They were the foreign invaders that were demonized. But notice, in the Old Reich, it wasn't just Jews that got locked up and persecuted. It was all the liberals. There were Christians, anyone who went against the Reich. What am I trying to say? It came to everyone's door. And I mean everyone's. And it was inevitable, and there was no stopping it. You're living in that time again. Only this is the final time. Because where this is going to go is just what the story says. Cashless, regional oligarchies, annexation, troops on streets, concentration camps. It's already there in a lot of respects. We just didn't get to the mark in the cashless stuff yet, but we will, don't worry. Remember, RFK talked about the wearables. In the next 4 years. So we're going to go to a place that you can't even imagine. We're already there in a lot of respects, like I said. And everyone seems to be fine with it. And guys like Leon made it happen. Now he's crying because he's not getting what he wants, and he's on the outs. Another person who thought they were in the club, and he's the richest man in the world. In the club, they had a leash on this thing, they had control of it. None of that was true. This is a beast. He's a maniac. He's out of control. He's pure fucking evil. So Greenland, expect to be invaded. Canada, expect to be invaded. Mexico, Central America. The Suez, Gaza, expect it all to go down. This is pure evil in charge. And the people that support him are evil as well. This is a global movement. I see people with these same attitudes in countries across the fucking world. This cruelty, this persecution, this evil. People in Canada are about it. People in the United States, people in Europe, people everywhere. And that's a shame. That it's not just an American movement and it just wasn't contained to here. That also tells me that it's supernatural as well. Because it doesn't make logical sense that it's a global movement when MAGA is an American thing. What is it really? It's a Russian thing. Because Vlad gave you the talking points for 20 fucking years. So that's another reason it's worldwide. Russia has been working on every democracy because he knows how fucking stupid human beings are. And a percentage would just go along if they were just given the talking points. And Vlad knew he couldn't beat us militarily. You know what he did know, though? That he could depend on you fucking rubes. He knew that. He knew how fucking stupid you were. He knew you would just hand your country over to the fucking con man in orange face who's been a Russian asset since 1987. You're Marx. I'm sorry. And again, it ain't because I don't like you that I'm saying that. It's just the truth. He's a con man and everyone knows it. But worse than that, he's the Antichrist. And he's going to take us to that place. Read Revelation if you'd like to know where it goes. Anyway, I gotta go. And again, if anyone would like to help out, I'm going to put the PayPal at the top of the comment section. Again, I'm focusing a lot of time and energy on this, and other things are suffering. I'd appreciate the help. I'd appreciate the appreciation. And for those that have already given, thank you so much. And until the next episode, have a wonderful evening.